And we're live. Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Alien Investigations. As always, I'm your host, Steven, and I've got a esteemed panel of guests here with me that I'll introduce in just a moment. So we're not doing a typical episode. We're not going to be actually playing a game of X-Files CCG this evening. That'll be for another night. Tonight we're going to be doing a unpacking episode. We've done a few of those on the channel in the past. So we're going to be cracking open a case of Truth is Out There, second edition booster packs of the X-Files Collectible Card Game. And before we get into that, I'm going to introduce our lineup of guests who are going to be providing the show with some commentary throughout. So it's not just going to be a very quiet show with just me opening up.
Not with Harry Potter on in the background. That's
and with Harry Potter in the background. So without further ado, let me bring in each of our guests that we have here. Starting from the top, we have Nathan joining us all the way from Wisconsin. How's it going up there, Nathan?
I'm ready for adventure, my friend. Let's dig into this box, huh?
Excellent. And also with us, we have from Washington State, Mr. David Peace.
Oh, the Taylor Swift.
I gotta get my shameless Taylor Swift promotion in there. I just saw the movie today. It was awesome. I just got home like an hour or two ago, so I'm still
riding that high.
Oh, Swifty,
you know it, woo, Swifty. But yeah, I'm excited to check out that 1996 Air out of those booster packs, and hopefully we'll get some. I'm hoping for 3 ultra rares, but that doesn't happen too often. We'll see what happens.
Excellent. Oh, and before I switch your camera out, David, I figured you might want to see. We also have another Swifty in our midst. We have my good friend Madeline.
Swifties unite.
Joining us. And Madeline, I want to thank you as always for tuning in. You are my most recurring viewer, and I can't thank you enough for your consistent attendance for these live games. Excellent.
Nothing to do with the fact that you're holding her hostage in your basement.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
or that every one of us have cats.
I'm gonna have to let her out now because you're on to the whole gig. You're on to the whole gig now, Nathan. All right, so next up on our let me get Madeline's comment out of there first, and there we go. Next up, we have Mr. Jonathan 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, who I had the pleasure of meeting in person at File Fest last September in Minnesota. Jonathan and his son 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, is that right?
That's correct.
Excellent. Joining us all the way from Kentucky. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're good. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's holding up his big win.
That is right. So 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 did take part in the X-Files CCG tournament at File Fest last month, and that is one of the big ticket prizes that he took away from it. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, what is that you're holding there specifically?
That is the fixed deck 5 and 6.
Truth is Out There edition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, which is exactly what we're going to be cracking open in just a moment. That was a very nice win, as I recall, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, so kudos on that. I know you put up a tough fight. There were some strong competitors present during that File Fest tournament, including 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 Richardson and his daughter, most especially. So, again, congratulations on that win. And, of course, thank you for coming out to File Fest to take part in the tournament along with us. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely was.
And last but not least, joining us all the way from France, we have 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Bright and early. It's 5 a.m. over there. Isn't that right, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬?
Yes, that's right. Hey, guys.
Let me ask you.
As usual, I'm not alone. As usual.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yay.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, welcome. I mean, at some point, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 was going to make a presence in this episode.
He just jumped on my laps.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, let me ask you, is the reason you're not asleep right now is because you're trying to avoid the bed bug?
No. It's not. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Maybe in some cities, but I definitely have not heard anything in the north of France.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is our panel lineup for this evening. We might have one or two other guests trickling in. Let's hope. Perhaps Mike Green, who is in his cabin right now in Oregon. So he's his reception's a little spotty, but we may or may not see him later on during this episode. And maybe perhaps another special guest if he's able to make an appearance, but we'll see. All right,
Steven,
so
every time you appear on one of these, your wall gets filled with more stuff.
right. I'm running out of space. I don't know what to do with all of it at this point.
Oh, you can send it to me, namely the things like the Don Russ.
You're gonna put that on the wall?
And, you can always. I'll put it on my wall.
I can hold on to a few of those things for you.
Yeah, the pewter. I can find room on my wall.
I don't want any of your stuff. I just want you to clean your room, Steven.
There it is. Yep.
There it is.
It's a good. I'm glad you brought that up, Nathan, because I do have an uncut sheet sitting right here. I would get a frame for it, but as you just pointed out, where the heck am I going to put it?
Where's it going to go?
I don't know.
I think you should start taking over the bedroom with your hobbies.
I don't know if I'll be allowed to spread it beyond.
I'm sure that'll play well.
Room.
I think we recommended knocking down that wall and expanding this room to give you some more display area there.
All right. Are you going to sign on as my foreman then?
I will be there for the demolition part of it.
You will be a foreman, but not the foreman.
Good, well said. All right, so at this point, I think we're about ready to break open this seal of Truth Is Out There edition boosters. But before we do that, though, I do want to point out that some of the audience members tuning in, as well as a few of our guests, have a little bit of dog in this episode, because they are also. Not exactly playing to win, but are going to hopefully get to take home some of the cards that will appear in this sealed box of boosters that I'm holding right here. So everyone had a chance to select 5 of either the rares or the ultra rares, or even just some of the reprinted cards from Truth Is Out There edition. And if they show up in this box, I will be mailing them to you. And so I do have the list right here in front of me, so I know who's going to get which cards as they come up. Yep, I think we're about set. So with that, I'm going to bring in my table here, so everyone can see this lovely box of.
Jonathan, I gotta have you mute that, my friend. I can't hear anything.
Be okay with it. So yes, this is a sealed box of Truth Is Out There edition boosters. At this point, we don't see a whole lot of these nowadays. I mean, they haven't been in production since 1997, so it's staggering to think that we can even still find any that are still sealed at this point. But we still look into them from time to time. But Truth Is Out There edition is especially difficult to find nowadays. Am I right?
They are. I opened my only box of Truth that I had when I got back from File Fest. I got a lot of Premiere and 1013. I still got a lot of that. I've got 9 boxes of Premiere and 6 boxes of 1013. But I don't have any more second edition.
For some of the viewers who may be watching, and if anyone, feel free to take this question or take this opportunity to showcase your knowledge. What is the origin behind the second edition of the X-Files Collectible Card Game? Why was there a need to have a second edition in the works? Anyone, take it away.
Ooh, well, there were some serious collation issues with the Premiere. even some of the starter decks were unplayable in a regular game because you had too many of the X-File suit cards. There's a nice one.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe anyone opted to get a unexplainable time loss, but I'll double check on that. Yep. Nope. But that's a nice one to have. Actually, and the first one that was on the list of requests has just come up. And Madeline, this one is for you. Women's Health Clinic in Richville, Maryland. That is one of the 30 exclusive Truth Is Out There edition cards. One of only 2 sites that is exclusive to this edition. And this one we don't actually see too often in the course of our games. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, why is that?
Yeah, the 2 Truth Is Out There sites, the keywords, they don't match the question written on the site. So you ask a motive question and the keyword is result or something like that, or affiliation on the card. So that can lead to confusing situations during the games.
Yes, and as I said, that is one of 2 sites for which that are exclusive to this edition, and as 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 has just mentioned, has a bit of a discrepancy between the question that's available as well as the keyword. They don't match on these 2. Whether that was intentional, we don't really know, but we're inclined to think it was a mistake, but for the purposes of our gameplay, we treat it as written. So, Madeline, this one is going to be coming to you. I do have your case of cards behind me that I'm going to fill with these cards that come up of your 5 that you selected. So already we've got one that's going to be going toward.
The real question for Madeline: when is she going to play you, Steven? When is she going to get a game in?
Well, she and I have actually already played a game. We didn't know. Not everyone is as comfortable in front of the camera as we are. But perhaps at some point down the line, we'll do a recording game. But Madeline has already played me once, and she did actually best me on that. So bravo.
Really? Oh, we got to see that.
But no recorded evidence?
No recorded evidence of it. You just have my word and hers to go on. So that is the first of the 36 boosters that are found in this box. And already we've got one. We got one lucky winner. And let's hope we have many more to come. So there's typically going to be 2 rares per pack. Is that correct?
I think 2 rares per pack, and I think 2 ultra rares per box, if I remember right.
Well said. And there are 10 ultra rares for the Truth Is Out There edition, just as there are 10 ultra rares for the Premier edition. And we will be seeing 2 of the 10 show up at some point while we're opening these 36 packs. And yeah,
there's a nice card.
What's that?
There's a nice card, Grid Pattern Search.
That is one, and I don't think anyone actually picked that one.
But
that's
it's definitely a useful one.
Very, very useful. I like that one. Oh, Church of the Red Museum. That is a really nice. That's a rare site. Very nice. And there we have it. So nothing too great on that one. So we do have. Again, 10 ultra rares, of which there'll be 2 coming up. Does anyone want to take a guess which ones they think might show up?
Well, I got to check my list because I'd be remiss if I didn't guess the card that I had chosen. Right?
Yeah, that would be true. Some of you have, might be a bit biased in your answers.
It's got to be One Breath.
Oh, Luther Lee Boggs. That's a nice one. And a
Frohickey.
Very nice. Very nice cards there. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, I think you were about to say something. You're one of the few who didn't actually select any cards for request for this one. Which 2 ultra rares do you think are going to show up?
Well, I would say Spirit of the Amaru and
yes, that's mine.
And something useless like additional resources.
Okay, excellent.
Thinking it's going to be Amaru, Urn, and Nurse Owens. I'm feeling a Nurse Owens from this box.
Amaru Urn is from the Mulder set.
Yeah. Northeast Georgetown Medical Center and Witness Intimidated. I believe that was one of mine, actually.
Nice. That's an exclusive to Truth.
That is correct. Witness Intimidated. And yes, that was one of mine. So nice. And Northeast Georgetown Medical Center is the other rare one from that set, or from this booster pack. There we go. Excellent. So we have 2 rares have already shown up.
So here's a question for you guys, because I could not find the answer. So Truth Is Out There was released in 1997, correct?
Yep. Correct.
And 1013 was also released in 1997. So did Truth Is Out There come out before 1013? Because there are a few Season 3 cards in Truth Is Out There. So I was wondering which one came out first.
To my knowledge, and I do recall, because I was buying the starters and booster packs from my local comic shop. I do know that I was buying I do know they had the they had the Truth Is Out There edition cards in the store before 1013 came along. As my memory serves, and I'm just speaking from personal experience from when I was going to my local comic shop to buy the cards. Do you have a different answer for that?
I think
the buyers.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't remember that well. I remember the only ones I remember were Premiere, getting Premiere from the comic store. That's the only ones I remember.
Could have sworn someone had requested Surfing the Net, but there it is right there.
Yeah.
And that, along with I think Dr. Diamond is a rare witness, if I'm not mistaken.
Is Baltimore must be an uncommon then, huh?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, quite a few of those.
There is some disagreement, I think, between the Premier rarity and the Truth rarity for some of those sites, isn't there?
For some of the sites, I believe you're correct. I mean, a lot the X-Files were for sure, because a lot of them became like fixed cards between one set to the next.
Sure.
I don't have the rarity in front of me, but if anyone does, they can certainly speak more to that.
David, I should point out while we're doing this, I'm still sorting from my 3,000 card disaster.
Another Dr. Diamond, and we have another lucky winner for an explosion, and that is Stafford over in the UK. Stafford, you're probably not watching because it is too early where you are right now, but
I don't know. Tell that to 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, man.
Yeah.
You came 1 hour earlier than me, so it's 4 a.m. there.
Hi, Sammy.
Well, even early, yeah. So Stafford, I do already have an envelope that I'm working on for you, as you well know. Trying to help him fill up, or trying to help him complete as much of his set as possible, and this is going to be one of those that puts him one step closer to completing that. So congratulations, you got one explosion card coming your way.
At File Fest, I actually got to talk to Nicholas Lee about that card.
Excellent.
About that scene in the show. He said he was telling me about it. He was telling me about how it was one of the most fun things he ever did in the show. He actually mentioned that as one of the top things, running from an exploding car, to put it in his
Getting
words.
almost blown up.
He said it was one of the most fun things to do on the show.
And we have another lucky winner amongst us, and that is Daniel Gorman over in Georgia, who may or may not be watching. But Daniel, you did request the Alien Bounty Hunter, and so that one has come to you, my friend. And Stafford, you got another lucky pick that just came up, the USPS Quadrant Map, one of the exclusive equipment cards for the 1013, or for the Truth Is Out There edition. Does anyone want to take a guess what the one other Truth Is Out There edition exclusive equipment card is? See who's knowledgeable amongst us here. Well done, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. The lockpick, which was requested by Joost. So we'll see if that one comes up. So let me set aside these two for Stafford and Daniel. Congratulations, gentlemen. And before I continue, I just want to show we got a couple more viewers. We have 4A Flashers Mike, who specifically requested one card, one and
Always
one
very
card.
drunk.
What's that? One and only one
I'm always
card.
very drunk. I love it.
Yep. So he's vying for Melissa Scully. So we'll see if he lucks out on that. And we also have Andrew, who also has a few cards that's on his request. Andrew, so far none of your requests have come up yet, my friend. But stay tuned. We're just getting going with this.
You're in good company in that respect, Andrew.
So Jonathan was just talking a little bit about File Fest. I did have the pleasure of getting to meet a few of you gentlemen, Nathan as well, Jonathan, Mike. You are not here, but you're here in spirit. Does anyone, Nathan, did you want to talk about any aspects or highlights of File Fest for you, my friend?
Yeah, sure. I think one of the, I guess, overarching things that stands out to me is just really how engaging some of the actors were with their fans. Nicholas Lee, Annabeth Gish, they were, and Chris Carter. Chris Carter spent so much time talking to fans, and it was just impressive how engaged they were. It wasn't just a one-off come to the event and put in your time and get out of there. They were very they wanted to talk to people and get to know them and spend time with them. So that was a very, very cool thing. And then of course, all the time you guys spent putting together the CCG tournament. That was very, very neat. I got to play a lot of games with you guys, including, we shut down the place on Saturday night. So that was a lot of fun. And thank you guys for your hard work.
And a special thanks has to go to Mike, of course, because out of all of us, he put in the most work in order to make this happen. So, Mike, I know you're watching, you're tuning in and out. Again, I cannot thank you enough for doing everything you did to ensure that not only me, Dax, Dave May were able to come out and attend File Fest. We owe a great debt to you for making that happen, and we made a lot of good memories there. And of course, that's to say, most especially, my best memory is getting to take home this little piece of X-Files CCG lore. Thank you again for that honor. Go ahead.
We're not
David.
counting the number of buyers that come up. We're counting the number of times Steven shows us that pewter card on camera.
We can certainly do that. And if I'm not mistaken, only one buyers has come up so far. I'll set the buyers cards aside. If anyone wants to take a guess, granted, there's already 2 that come up. So, there could be quite a few buyers that show up. And what happened?
So, all you File Fest people who attend File Fest, what was your most coveted signature that you received during that time?
Ooh, good question. Good question. And before, did someone request a cell phone? I don't think anyone did. Nope. Sorry. Carry on, David.
Question stands. Jonathan 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, you're up.
Well, since I got them all, it's hard.
Well, who's your favorite character then?
My favorite character is definitely 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, Nicholas Lee, and he was awesome to talk to. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, we had an awesome discussion with Nicholas about it. My son and I did. He and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, definitely. Mitch was awesome. He thought, Isaiah being there. Literally, when we went up to see him, he looked at Isaiah and he said, "This is awesome." He loved the fact, that a 10-year-old is into the show and getting into it. But Nick was really awesome, and in the show, he's my favorite character because he's the guy, he's the bad guy, and then he's the good guy. You don't know where he is, but it's all over the place. He gets to do all the awesome stuff and be in on all the secrets, but he's kind of on Mulder's side. It's just always back and forth, and we had a pretty long discussion about that. He and I did, and he was all about Isaiah. I don't know where I've stuck that photo, but we had a really cool photo with him and me and Isaiah, and it was a lot of fun. I would say it was definitely 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and Nicholas Lee were my favorite. But we also Annabeth Gish, she and I also talked quite a bit about her character on there because some people didn't like how they came in and took over, kind of where Mulder and Scully have been. But I thought her interaction with John Doggett was interesting. The relationship they had that was different than Mulder and Scully. We talked about that, and she felt that way about the character too. So, it was it was a very cool and interesting setup. And like I said, they were all very eager to talk about it, and they loved the fact that younger guys like Isaiah were there. Of course, Isaiah was, I don't know, I think he was kind of the star of File Fest. He was like the only young kid there, so he was kind of a, all the actors were big into him, and Chris Carter loved it. I mean, they all were kind of like, wow, this is cool that somebody this age is into it. So it was neat, and that was fun.
That's very cool. So Nathan, your most coveted autograph from File Fest?
Yeah, and I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna give my runner up, and then give my champion. My runner up is finishing off the original No One's So Paranoid from the '96 Gen Con, which was signed by Tom Braidwood and Dean Haglund during that Gen Con. And so I finally got Bruce Hardwood on that, and finished off that round of signatures. So that's my runner-up. Very cool. But I went there for Stephen Williams, X, my favorite character on the X-Files, and I saw Stephen flash the card earlier.
That's right.
That is my number one. The X character is the one that they were so ambiguous about who he was working for and which side he was on, and although he was on the show for just a relatively short time in that sort of supporting role, I think he made an incredible mark on the series. And so my favorite character, my favorite actor, favorite signature from File Fest.
Well said.
And you interview just about any actor about what was their favorite character, and they always say the villain. They love playing the villain. So it's, with Stephen Williams, you were saying it's kind of ambiguous. Sometimes the good guy, sometimes the bad guy, and and that tracks with Jonathan's comment about Nicholas Lee too. You never know if he's the good guy or the bad guy. He's playing both sides, so that's a lot of fun. Stephen, do you have a coveted card there from your
I do,
pack
but before I get to that, I want to congratulate Dave Meyer for his request. Brother Martin is attracted to you has come up. So Dave Meyer, I know you're on vacation right now too, so you're not able to watch, but you, my friend, will be getting that in the mail before too long. And yes, I did throw a few of my highlights on the mat a little while ago. Like Nathan was saying, Stephen Williams was one of my favorite guests that I was most keen on getting a signature from. And what I had shown earlier was a signed ultra rare Skinner Chooses a Side card, signed not just by Stephen Williams, but also by 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. And also alongside of that was a copy of the Video Trap from the 1013 expansion, signed by all three of the Lone Gunmen who are present on the card. Everyone else was getting their No One's So Paranoid signed at File Fest. Me, I was going against the grain and getting a Video Trap signed.
Well, to be fair, everyone else had to pay for their autograph, so...
Yep. So,
well, then that card, Stephen, is still missing one autograph, Mr. David Duchovny, to make it every actor on the card.
That's true. So at some point, maybe I'll get lucky and get that fourth signature. So
raise that bar, David. Raise that bar.
That'll be the white whale. He just moved the goalpost a little bit for me.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, Jonathan's showing us his No One's So Paranoid there.
Oh, let me.
Yeah, that was the one that was the No One's So Paranoid signed by everybody.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. All three gunmen accounted for on there. And Jonathan, what episode is playing behind you?
Right now, I'm about to start season 9, episode 1.
Gotcha.
No, turn that off.
Yeah. No, don't boo. Oh, and Mike, Flashers, one of the two ultra rares has come up. Congratulations, nice. Melissa.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So Mike, Flashers, that one's coming your way. If you're watching, I know you're drunk right now, but you're gonna have to send me your address. I've got everyone else's address but yours.
He's so excited he just threw up a little bit.
Just threw.
That was an excitement, David.
Excellent. So one of the two ultra rares has come up for the evening. I don't think that was one that Guillaume or Jonathan had predicted, right?
No, it's not. It's one of my favorites though. I really love that one because I usually love to include Scully on my team. So I like to have Melissa Scully and Margaret Scully in my deck.
I'll throw out a question for discussion here. What do you guys feel is the most useful Truth Ultra Rare?
That is a great question. Does anyone want? I'll go last. Someone else can start. Guillaume, we'll go top down. Start from you, then go all the way to bottom.
Well, as I just mentioned, I think to me at least, there are two cards, Margaret Scully and Melissa Scully, and just because I usually love to have Scully on my team, and there is actually only one time that I was able to pull off one of those two cards. It was during one of the season 4 playtest games. I think it was against Nathan, and I was first able to prevent Scully from going to the hospital by removing Melissa Scully from the game, and then I was able to play Margaret Scully for free because Melissa had been removed from the game. So it was nice to have those cards come up at the right time in the right order and to be able to use the full effects. And it only happened once.
I do remember that. It was a very nice
wild ride. Yeah.
Nathan, before you answer that question, I want to congratulate Andrew. If you're still watching, Andrew, this was one of your requests. Dr. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, one of the exclusive Truth is Out There edition rare cards just came up. So you got another one that is coming your way. Congratulations, my friend. And Nathan, go ahead, throw out your answer. What do you think is the most useful ultra rare?
I'm probably I think David's probably gonna go in a different direction here. But I'm gonna say the one I wound up including in my decks most often is actually Mrs. Mulder.
Very nice,
because she can potentially get you an extra question if you play her right. So I usually incorporate her into decks where I'm doing alien investigation skill checks, which are a lot. So Mrs. Mulder is my answer. Kind of unconventional, but
she's one of those cards that has a small issue in the activators. Instead of a comma between alien investigation and behavioral, there is a comma instead of a slash, and so if we play it the way it was printed, it would be unusable. But it is a great game effect.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of strange at first when I first saw that card, having she adds 0 to the skill check. It is kind of strange.
Yeah, but there are so many agents that have alien investigation and have it in. Mulder's got 4 by himself, right? So if you're playing Mrs. Mulder, you're probably playing Mulder, and usually the 0 bonus is not going to be an issue for you.
Like maybe they could have just said, play this card before the investigation starts, and if the investigation is successful, then you can ask the extra question.
I agree. That's a better way to frame that. It's also a little more risky, and I do like that aspect of it
because it does cost 5. So
right.
David, what do you think is the most useful ultra rare?
Now, One Breath is an ultra rare. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then that is my choice for this. Pulling an event card, invaluable. Whether it's which one is it, Langley or 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬? I plan on using it for my smoke and mirrors that I just recently acquired, and a few others. I think that's invaluable.
And
Nurse Owens.
And this is fitting because this was going to be my answer to the question of what is the most useful ultra rare, and mine is Nurse Owens because most of the time it winds up getting pitched in the trash for CP 6 CP to be specific. But come on, that is a pretty useful effect if you do decide to partake of Nurse Owens's effect and regaining potentially your Albert Hosteen token, one of your Mulder site tokens, or a Chuck Burke token. Come on. Or in my case, a Manners token.
I was going to say, don't forget Manners. But yeah, Hosteen. It's
yep.
Hosteen's
so that was my
tokens
answer.
already.
And I do want to send a congratulations to Madeline. For that was one of your choices. So Madeline, if you're still watching, congrats again. You got a Nurse Owens.
She just commented earlier that this is a great unboxing. It's been great for her.
He did say that. Yeah, I'll throw that right back up there. So this was before her ultra rare pick had come up. But Madeline, you can reiterate that point. Thank you so much.
So I have one question about Nursowens actually, because it doesn't say in the game effect that the card cannot take the number of tokens above the limit. So could you use it on Albert Hostin if he still has this starting token, for instance? And then
That's a great question. I'm leaning towards yes, because as you just said, Guillaume, it does not state that. Like there's another card, what the Mailman says it. The Mailman came out. The Nursowens predates the Mailman, of course, so it could be they didn't realize that that problematic issue prior. But because that's not printed on there and it doesn't say explicitly, I'm inclined to think yes. And I mean, it's a pretty expensive card too. Yeah. So I say all the more reason. Yeah. What do you say, Nathan?
Yeah, I agree. I think for 6 RP, you're getting what you pay for, and that's a bonus token on everybody. So.
Jonathan, you're back with us. The question that we had thrown out there earlier was, what do you think is the most useful ultra rare of the Truth Is Out There edition cards? Which of the 10 strikes out as the most useful to you?
Well, yeah, I'm there with you guys with Nursowens too. I mean, you can use the effect or the selling for points. I mean, either one. And I know that's what most of us do. We sell for 6 more often than we actually use the card. But that's a big deal. 6 out of 1 card is very, very useful for CP.
Yes.
So that's, I think we all include Nursowens in our deck for that reason, if nothing else.
Oh,
so,
I include 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm same way. So.
And I want to congratulate Daniel Gorman again. Daniel, one of the adversaries that you requested, another one just came up. So you are getting not only an Alien Bounty Hunter, but you're also getting the Truth Is Out There edition of Abduction. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Excellent. So yeah, Daniel Gorman is one of the newer additions to our Discord community. Been working to try to help him fill as much of his collection as possible. I don't have as many rares as I used to, so I haven't been able to get as many out to him. But I'm glad to say that he's already getting 2 as a result of tonight's episode. Congratulations again, Daniel.
I couldn't help but notice you set aside M16 assault rifle.
Yes, that was going to be another another talking point I thought I'd bring up, because this one is an oddity in the sense that it is a reprint of a Premier card, but there is a distinct difference between this one and the Premier Edition version, and obviously I think everyone here knows what that is, right?
Oh, obviously, yeah.
So.
Guillaume, you know what the difference is. Go ahead and say
it. No, I
the title was changed from.
Oh yeah, it's 14 to 15 to 14.
Mini 14 is the title of the Premier Edition, and M16 is the title of this one. So. What do you guys? What do you guys? Would any of you want to care to speculate as to why that change was made? They didn't change the picture on the card; it's the same picture from the Premier Edition.
Because the name would be inaccurate if the picture shows an M16. Right?
So Mini 14 was an inaccurate title. Is that what I'm hearing, David?
Yeah, Mini 14, and I'm going to date myself, but if anyone here is a fan of the original A-Team. Back in the day, those guys carried Mini 14s. They had
having actually been in the infantry, in the army.
I thought you were going to tell me you had been in the A-Team. I'm like, what?
No, that would have been even cooler. But yeah, actually having carried an M16 in real life, to be technically accurate, an M16A2. That's wrong.
Yeah,
I can tell you that's wrong.
Mini 14 are completely different.
Yes, that's not the same gun.
So the reason for the title change was for the sake of correcting an inaccurate designation for the gun. Then, right?
Right.
Definitely the wrong picture.
Gotcha. Excellent. So
I'm
someone
sorting.
probably reached out and told them, "Hey, you guys screwed the pooch on that. That's actually an M16, not a Mini 14." And so they just included that in the reprint for the second edition.
I think it's nice that from out of all the mistakes and all the things that they could have corrected in Truth It Out There is that one specific thing that they chose to correct, and they forgot to correct everything else that was wrong with it. So
Yeah,
and there were a lot of things they could have corrected.
My son just showed me the sweet take he had from File Fest that he just kept from me. You guys want to see it?
What's that?
Well, he got this. Let's see. Let me see if I can get it to where we can see it. There we go.
Oh, it's a Pat Skipper. A Scully Family Gathering. I got one of those too. Very nice.
Okay. That. And then.
Yes, that's one of Dax's dream cards signed by Kristen Cloak.
Yes, he got that. And then both Langleys.
Oh, yes, Dax's version from the episode This. Excellent.
If I can get this in here.
And you did not know about this?
Yes, he sneaks these autograph cards in on me, man. You believe this? And this. Yeah, another one of these signed by Kristen.
Very nice.
I can't get my hand out of the way.
Excellent.
And then look at this. Look at this.
I can't see that one.
Too much
Is it
glare.
a pewter?
Hold on.
Oh, it's a playtest card.
It's a play test, but can you see who it is?
I can't. I'm sorry. It's there's too much glare going
Got
on.
nothing.
It's Agent Dana Scully.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this.
Is it Detective Manners?
Wait,
No,
wait.
it's not
No,
Manners.
no.
Is it? Oh, it's Agent Dana Scully. Very nice.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The playtest card for that. I took home the Skinner playtest card.
Well, he got a bunch of play tests.
That's where
Well,
they all
now,
went.
hold up a second. If he's willing to brag about these, maybe he'd like to share with a few people that weren't able to attend, you know?
I mean, what is that about?
Giveaway.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he got his Dean Haglin, No One's So Paranoid.
Very nice.
Good man. He got all the good stuff.
I know. I mean, where was I?
Very cool.
I
Yeah,
was
Dean
playing
Haglin.
cards. I was off playing cards or something while he was getting all the sweet stuff.
He got all that
Haglin was
stuff while
actually-
you were talking to Nicholas Lee and Chris Carter.
Yes, apparently.
So yeah, I want to also congratulate Andrew again. Andrew in Mississippi. I got another one of your requests, the F. Emasculata Outbreak, for another one of the exclusive Truth Is Out There edition adversaries just came up. So this one we don't see too often in play very much. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, would you like to what would you like to say about this card? There's a couple things wrong with it. And that may or may not be a reason why it doesn't see much play. What do you think?
Well, I think that hold on, I need to pull to look at the code. Okay, so well, first of all, it has the activator medical, and we don't tend to see a lot of medical sites, so that's something against that card. There is also it doesn't prevent us from playing it, but it also has a wrong keyword. It has the keyword phenomenon instead of phenomena.
Correct. But I think we're all inclined to agree that if a Hell Money card should get played, that would be an accurate play, right?
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? You too, David?
Yeah, that's one of my few adversaries that I have successfully played in a game. Unfortunately, the episode number escapes me, but I did have the opportunity to play that. It was pretty effective too.
You did play this card?
I did, yeah.
Okay, excellent. I don't remember that one.
I think if you've managed to send an agent to the hospital using a cheap adversary, then playing that one could be good.
And lock them in, yeah.
And if there are two agents, then that's even more useful. But it does have the site and medical activator, so...
Yeah, and that's the thing that's weird about this one, because it's not played in the field like every other adversary card, yet it requires the medical site to be in the field, and yet you will play this card over in your hospital section. So there's some, I don't know, it just seems a bit it just seems a bit clumsy, if you ask me, to require a specific site to be out and play, but then you can only play in the hospital.
It's almost impossible to play.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen, but it just seems like it just seems like as Guillaume said, you don't necessarily see a whole lot of medical sites get played unless they just happen to be part of a multi-site.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
well, maybe I got away with something. I'm not going to look up that episode because I don't want it to be an illegal play.
Oh yeah, maybe maybe you didn't check the activator beforehand, but yeah, this is one of those instances where a lot of times the activators, if it's not a one of the 4 attributes of the X-File card, like affiliation, motive, method, result, it's usually just going to say conspiracy and the skill, like occult investigation for the poltergeist attack, right? It'll just say conspiracy, occult investigation, whereas this one, it's got 3 activators, including a site and medical thrown in. So it just seems like it's an extra, it's like an extra layer of activator to try to get this card to come up. So you don't see that terribly often, but I think that just probably plays a altogether, it just plays a reason why we don't see it too often. But Andrew, this is yours now, so maybe you can see what you can do with that one, and maybe we'll see that one come up in a game at a later time.
I mean, it would have been nice if the Cumberland prison site had been a multi-site with medical.
Yeah,
that
would be huge.
That would have been on theme. Yeah.
Yes,
very much so. Yeah. Oh, Medikit. That is another one. That one's going to Nathan. Congratulations, my friend. You got yourself a Medikit coming your way.
Thank goodness.
And I think I might need you to PM your address to me too, because I think I've only sent one thing to you, but that was a long time ago, and I don't think I have your address on file.
Some Joost cards, I think, is what that was.
Yeah, that was a while back
in
sure.
the day.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Just to round up 2 discussions here on the ultra rare front. I'm a little surprised no one said too close to the truth.
I'm not going to say that, and I do want to point out that Persephone just made a brief appearance on David's camera just a moment ago.
Yeah, she's been sleeping on the other side of the table. I knew it was only a matter of time before she wandered over here to put her butt on camera.
So that's 2 of 3 cats that have shown up. I have not seen hide or hair of mine just yet. But the night is still young. And Nathan, what was the other discussion you were trying to wrap up earlier?
Yeah, too close to the truth, and then the Emasculata card. You need to put some site activator on there, right? Because you can't just have it be just free, like play to the hospital and not have you be able to play that on any kind of combat, right? I think you need that restriction. So,
well, I mean, if they had removed site and just put in medical, then it could have been used for sites or for witnesses.
Correct. Exactly. That's what. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of going a circuitous route of trying to explain just what Guillaume said very succinctly. So thank you, Guillaume. Okay. And I also want to point out, Joost, we got another one of your requests that just came up. The Friend in the Lab, an event card from the Truth is Out There edition. So this one's a fairly recurring one. We do see this one come up from time to time. People go in and fish an equipment card out of their bureau deck in order to get the precise equipment card they need at the right time. So that's a pretty good one. So Joost, that's another one that's coming your way. Congrats.
Call me on your cell phone, right?
Here's another question for you guys. Which promo codes do you consider to be part of the Truth Is Out There edition? Because, for instance, there are some event promo codes that use the same graphics from Truth Is Out There. But when you buy a 1013 booster box, you do have a promo code, and it's Teamwork, and Teamwork uses the same graphics as Truth Is Out There, with the police crime scene and the blue background. So which promo codes were specifically edited for the Truth Is Out There?
That's a great question, Guillaume.
Let me flip over to them.
While you guys are mulling that over, I want to congratulate Stafford in the UK once again. Stafford, False Sleep was another one of your requests that came up.
That card is so overpriced for what it does.
Insanely overpriced.
So I know with the Voyager promotion promo cards, that Mike Mackey did. Those were he got the ability to have those cards. Those cards were already created, or there was a demo version of them at USPC. And once he sold so much of or bought so much from them of a particular product, he got to get those promo cards, and that was all after Premiere. None of that was before Premiere, so it was all. Those would have all the Voyager promotions would have been kind of like second edition as far as that goes, because they didn't really exist before. And like I said, he had to either buy so much from them or have so many sales on hand before they would print those cards, because that was kind of the deal he cut. There were five of them, if I recall correctly.
There were 5.
Yeah, and he had it in place. If he sells enough product or buys enough product, they will print those cards for him, and then he was able to market those as basically the Voyager promotion only promos. So those would have all been like, I guess you could call them 1013 or second edition, but they all came after Premiere.
Yeah, they came in at I guess they were probably going to be slated for release as part of like future promos, whether it be with the Scully set or maybe later on. But because the game was canceled, those cards were I guess they were printed, but they just never had a chance to get released. And so Mike Mackey wound up getting his hands on those in amidst all the other merch that he was able to purchase in massive quantities, and so he was able to provide those as exclusive Voyager promotions cards because they were never commercially released elsewhere.
So what card was that? The name of the card?
There were 5 of them. The
Final Choice,
Good Fortune.
I think those cards I would consider to be part of at least 1013 because of the graphics. But although Final Choice, the blue on the background does not exactly match the graphics, so I would say maybe part of the Scully promo of the Scully set. But can we say that any card that has that police crime scene graphic is a part of the Truth Is Out There edition?
Yeah, anything that was what is it? Believe the Lie, Effect That You Might Believe, Final Choice, Good Fortune, all of those. Let's see, what's the other one? That's
Calling Us More Often and Good Fortune.
Yeah, all of those were, they were not part of Premiere or 1013 because those were the commercially.
But I think those cards, if you look at it. If I'm not mistaken, those cards have the glasses graphics on top of them, which matches the event cards from the Scully set.
Yeah. They definitely would have been. It's like
it makes a difference. I don't consider any of them.
The other things, they had them like USPC had them. They already existed. They were not created later. Those 5 cards existed, but they had never been released as part of anything.
And what's fun is that 2 of those cards are from season 4.
And Nathan, I think this is one of yours. This Cigarette Smoking Man Strikes.
It is.
Congratulations. So you don't have a copy of this one?
I think I have 1 copy, but not a play set.
Well, now you got 2. Congrats on that one.
Sweet.
And
those Voyager promotion cards, like I said, it's hard to know what they were ever going to be part of because everything got canceled. We don't know if they were going to be part of the Scully stuff. We don't know if they were actually going to end up being part. I don't think they were going to be part of second edition because it was released and, they weren't part of that. That was after. They were after all of it. So they were probably part of Scully. They would have been part of Scully and later, potentially. They might have all been Scully, honestly.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Yeah, we just don't know.
Because there were about how many promos per edition? This is a question I honestly don't know. Were there about?
I'll count them real quick if you want me to.
Yeah, Smoke and Mirrors is kind of weird because there's just 5 of those alone. But Is there a set? Is the number of Premier promos the same as the number of Truth Is Out There edition promos?
Are we count on the premieres? Do we count No One's So Paranoid? Or how do we count that?
I wouldn't count that one. It's a Gen Con promo.
4, 5, 6. There's 6, not counting No One's So Paranoid on the premieres. There's 7 if you count it.
Bill Mulder, is that someone request Bill Mulder?
So what are the 6 cards, Jonathan?
Nope. Okay.
Then if you go to the other, obviously if you go past that, then it depends on if you count the Voyager promotions.
Don't count those.
Okay, don't count those. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got like 11 or 12, but if you knock out 4 of those, 4 or 5 of those, because there's so many versions of Smoke and Mirrors, you're about 6 or 7. You're about the same.
Okay. So Jonathan, which are the 6 cards from Premiere?
What is it? I'm sorry, Gim, what was that?
What are the 6 cards from Premiere?
You got the Dark Angel, Fighter Interceptor, Alien Technology,
right?
Chester Bonaparte, Agent Henderson,
right?
Teamwork.
Well, I would not. Would you consider Teamwork part of the Premiere?
I don't think Teamwork's part of that. That was...
Yeah, well, you're right. It's probably not. It's just the way I have it that way just because of the way the numbering is.
Is it 90? It's 97 though, isn't it?
Yeah. And
no. It's 960007.
Yeah. That card is strange because it is 96. It uses graphics from Truth Is Out There, but it was released for 1013. So
no kidding. Huh.
It's weird though. It does have a 96 numbering on it.
Yeah, it is a weird card.
Yeah.
Do I see Stafford's another winner there with
yes,
Leonard?
that is correct. Stafford, you're probably still asleep, but congratulations once again for Leonard. The exclusive adversary for Truth Is Out There edition has come up as well. So you got another one coming your way, my friend. That list of gaps you have is getting shorter and shorter by the pack.
And then, of course,
there's the Mini 14 we were talking about earlier.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep.
There it is. Yep.
Not the right gun.
Not the right one.
But of course, No One's So Paranoid is also a 96 number too. I mean, it does say Gen Con like all of the Gen Con deck cards. But it's numbered like they are.
I think you guys are engaged in a pointless exercise. I just put promos in a stack by themselves. I do not connect them to any sets. They exist in their own territory. So,
well, could the Voyager promotions have been planned for like magazine inserts? Bagged magazine inserts or something?
Okay. You got to do it like I did. Okay, you got to have 3 folders. With all 3 sets in all 3 folders, you gotta have a playable, and a one you don't touch. You gotta do it that way, all in order by the numbers.
I can't do it. I gotta have it by
episode order. Box,
so so this discussion is a little bit tricky for me to weigh in just because of the order in which I have them sorted. But let's turn it to another. Let's kind of go back to a question that was thrown earlier about like what was the most useful ultra rare in the set. What do you guys think is the most problematic or least practical addition to the 1013 set of the 30 rare or ultra rare?
True set? You mean?
Yes. Which one do you think was most problematic? You're like, oh god, I can't. Like that card is pointless. We saw false leads earlier, so I don't know if that one might be at the top of everyone's selection.
Well, those are 2 different things: problematic or pointless.
Whatever
you want to just, however you want to answer it.
Because I like problematic cards.
All right,
but I don't like useless cards.
I would say
you're not invited to our play test.
Within our group, I would say the most controversial is Too Close to the Truth.
Mustache sketches. I love that card.
I think to me the most problematic is Assassinated for me.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what that was going to be mine. Yeah. So yes, Assassinated. The second part of that effect. Despite Dave May trying to clear that up in an episode of Dave May's Corner last year, it really did not address so many of the questions we had. It's it's a CP card, but yet it's providing a +1 to an agent. It doesn't say which side, but we're presuming it's the agents on the conspirator side. But we never do see agents in play when the conspiracy when the owner of those cards is in their conspiracy round. And not to mention, it doesn't specify what skill it's being added to. So that one for me is the most problematic. I know David Peace loves the first part of that card because it can be used to take out Kevin Morris. But it's the second part that just has me scratching my head.
So it's just a +1 in one skill. It's not in every skills, right?
That it does. That's again, it doesn't say.
Like
it just says
a permanent skill increase of +1, so it could mean for every skill. Or
I don't know.
I think you pick a skill and +1, but I admit you can interpret that in different ways.
And the thing is, it doesn't have in addition. Like usually when there are 2 effects, there's the first one, and then in addition you can do this. And it doesn't say that on assassinated. So could you just play during your turn as a conspiracy player to have a +1 to one of your agents without having to negate a witness?
It's a good point. What do you guys say?
Isn't there a witness activator on the card?
Oh right. Oh yes. All right.
There is a witness activator.
Conspiracy
witness. Yep. All right. That rules that out. We're down to our last 4. Nathan, did you have was there a particular one that sticks out in your mind?
We talked about problematic. I agree with 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬's assassinated. That was the one that came to mind. Most useless. I'm just impressed that the false leads card. I don't really. I've never played that. I can't imagine a time when I will play that. So there you go. That's my nominee for useless card.
That's never going to be in anybody's deck.
No, not unless we ever want to do a game where we include some of these. Often, like maybe we make it a stipulation that certain cards have to be included in your deck, and just to see what happens.
I think I would just end up discarding it. I'm not paying 8 CP. Well, unless it's the only thing that I can do, and maybe it could work. But 8 CP is just too much. The game effect is good, but not for that cost.
Speaking of which, did we ever get that game off, David, with you and Mike? With the
not yet. I brought that up to him. Mike. Oh, there's the thinker there, Nathan.
And Nathan, this is one of yours. So congrats again.
The thinker's a great card.
Yes, very cool. Got 3 coming your way now, I believe. Very nice.
Oh, do I? What was my third one?
One of the few witnesses worth.
You got the thinker,
CSM strikes.
CSM strikes, Medikit, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Very cool.
And David Peace, I have to say, are you the only one who has not pulled a card yet?
I chose poorly.
You only chose 3, right? Yeah, you chose 4. Well, you only gave me 3 choices as well. Everyone got 5, so yeah.
And 2 were ultra rare, or were all 3 ultra rares?
2 of them were, yeah.
Yeah. So I was reaching pretty high for that.
No, 3 of them were ultra rare. Yeah.
I wanted to throw a card out there for you guys, and Steven and David, I've played this card one time, and I wanted to see everybody else's thoughts on it. Ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
You guys remember
I love that card. I played that too, yeah. That's a good card.
There's Lockpick.
Yes.
And Joost, congratulations. Lockpick is coming your way. Very nice. That's both of the Truth is Out There exclusive equipment cards have come up in this tonight, and 2 packs are remaining. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Jonathan, carry on.
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to, see, ceremony. It seems like I said, when I played it, when I pulled that card, I really pulled it for CP fodder. But it ended up, it's a great card, and I don't think it gets the love that it should get. And I wanted to see what you guys thought, if anybody else had played it, because I know I played it. And I didn't know if you guys had used it any, and I just wanted to hear what your thought, everybody else's thoughts were.
Whenever I have a believer heavy deck, I throw that in there. It's a great. So I typically include a handful of healing cards just because you got to deal with stuff like Manitou Strikes, which Steven just pulled out of one of those packs.
Yes.
Yep.
You need to include a few healing cards, and I'll tell you what, if your team is mostly believers, Ceremony instantly heals. The the chunkier team, then yeah. Plus, as you mentioned, it's a great CP fodder card if you wind up being hurting for CP resources later on. So I agree with you. I like that card a lot, and I do play it.
So here's a question, because I think, to me, well, I mostly don't. I mostly have a science team, so not many believers, but I think it is a great card. But what would maybe prevent me from playing it is having to pay 5 RP immediately and then hoping it would be useful during the game. So my question is, could you wait until one of your agents is about to be sent to the hospital and then play ceremony and place the agent immediately underneath ceremony, or would that be considered too late?
If I recall,
it's an event card. If you hit the activators, you can play it whenever you want.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, that's essentially how I played it.
I think that
what is Stephen? Is that pretty much how I played it?
That's kind of ringing a bell. I haven't edited it, but it's coming up. I think after the one I'm editing now, I will be doing that episode.
Yeah, I think that's. If I recall correctly, I mean, it's been a while. Like I said, it's been a while. It's been a month or two, but I think that's pretty much how I played it. If I recall correctly.
That's the only time I've seen it played. So, I mean, I know we did call in David, who was watching, observing that game, to weigh in on it, because I think we did have a bit of a question on the mechanics of that one.
Yeah, because the way it is written, it almost seems like it has to be already in play once the agent is forced to go to the hospital in order to be able to place the agents underneath. Like in the sequence of things, like the agent is sent to the hospital, but then you play ceremony at that time. And I think maybe if I had to judge that, I'm not sure I would be able to know how to.
Okay. Well, let me give it a quick
fair
read.
Point. I do like.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play it during combat.
Okay, play this card in the field and place 2 tokens on it. Any believer agent forced to go to the hospital may be placed under this card instead.
Right. The question is being posed is that, is it the sequence of things? And the way I understand it is you don't send your agents to the hospital until you exit the combat subroutine. So even though, like, say, one agent gets taken out in long range, I know most of us just go ahead and put them in the hospital at that point. But what I believe we're not supposed to do is we're not supposed to move them over there until combat has completely resolved. And at that point, we're supposed to move them over there. But the question regarding ceremony is whether in that point, when you exit the combat subroutine, can you play ceremony to before your agents go over there? And I'm almost starting to, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm almost kind of inclined to think, no, you got to, as soon as you exit the combat subroutine, agents are going to the hospital at that point. I don't think we can preempt that, because I think I tried to do that once with the White Buffalo, and I think that was in the game with 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬. Was that correct?
Well, you know that your memory is better than mine on what happens during our games.
But I think we did have a long discussion about that one when I was like, oh, can I play White Buffalo at this point now that we're out of combat to keep my agent from going? And I think we lean towards no for that one.
Well, now ceremony, I mean, the way it, it says, okay, any believer agent forced to go to the hospital. So they've had to go to the hospital. Yeah. So your agent's
forced to go. It says forced to go.
Forced to go to the hospital. May be placed under this card.
Yeah, but I think it's just a question of, does that card already need to be in place prior to the agent receiving damage in the combat? That's basically the crux of it, right, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬?
Well, this card doesn't even do anything to the healing phase. It says during the healing phase, the owning player may remove a token and heal all damage done to this agent. So even
it would happen next round.
Yes, exactly. My thought is, even if you played it first or later, it doesn't matter, because it's not it's not going to matter till next round anyway.
But if you're
any agent forced to go to the hospital, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, during your next briefing phase, the agent won't be able to contribute. But during your next investigation phase with ceremony, then the agent is fully healed. Whereas if he's in the hospital, he cannot contribute.
So if you've gone through all the phases, your next healing phase will essentially be on the next turn, and that's when this is going to take effect. So it's going to be on the next turn. No, irregardless. It's basically a card, as far as I can tell, it's basically a card that instead of taking 3 turns to get your agent out of the hospital, it takes 1. That's basically what it does.
I mean, that's what the intent is for sure. Yeah. But I think we're just like we're trying to hammer down the specific mechanics of it. Guillaume, what were you about to say? What's your feeling?
My feeling is that the spirit of the card is that it's a resource card. Basically, you play it as a safeguard. It's in your field, and if one of your agents during the game needs to be sent to the hospital, you can put it under ceremony. But to me, at least, I don't think the spirit of the card is you wait until one of your agents is about to be sent to the hospital, and then you play ceremony. Ceremony has to be there before. But it's not just... I would not argue against someone who say, okay, I'm playing it that way. It's just the way I feel about that card, which is completely subjective.
When we started this conversation, Guillaume, I vehemently disagreed with you, and you brought me around.
I know. That's the thing. That's why I asked him. That's why I asked him. It's like he's so technically accurate, it drives me crazy.
What sold me is I pulled the rule book, and on page 36, the combat example, it says that so once the conspiracy player assigns the damage to the agent's health is reduced to 0 and is immediately moved to the hospital. So I think being moved to the hospital is still part of combat, and you could not play an event card. It has to be a combat card during combat. So I think it does have to be on the table for you.
Yeah.
It would have to be in play already.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So we're down to the last.
I hate that you're so smart.
Ahead. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I said, Guillaume, I hate that you're so smart.
But his knowledge comes in handy more often than not. So
yeah, I love it. Thanks for being so smart, Guillaume.
Yeah, no, not always.
He's the great negotiator. He's gonna, if you get into a discussion with him, likely he's gonna win. You may as well just give up.
Well, not always, because I know that there are some. I think that there is I'm writing up my arguments for Steven for the computer activator, for the computer keyword on the season 5 adversary. So
yeah. Okay, so I before I open this last pack, I do want to point out that we don't have all of the Truth Is Out There edition rares. They have not all appeared, and I was under the impression that like any box of boosters is gonna have at least a copy of each.
No.
Did anyone have that same assumption?
No, I opened my last box of Truth Is Out There, and there were 3 rares that I know for a fact
did not appear.
Rares that I did not get. They were. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what they were.
Yeah,
just 3 rares. That's insane. Like, imagine him being in 1997
of the
and
20. Yeah,
imagine trying to do your collection back then.
I know I did not get Assassinated, A Friend in the Lab, and Dr. Joe Ridley. Those 3 did not show up in my last box.
Okay. Yeah, and I had 2 copies of Friend in the Lab shown up. Of the ones that have yet to show up, of just the 20 rares, we did not see Tracking the Killer, Injured Relative, Taking Chances, Colonel Kissel, Meet Brother Andrew, Assassinated, Security Clearance, and that would be it. So those 7 did not come up.
But I know Assassinated was an ultra rare, but I swear I think it functions about like one.
I think this pack is going to be all rares.
Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, I feel like that was a one-time.
It's not going to happen. You know it's not.
Let's see.
Already out.
One of the 7 outstanding rares is in this one. And we got a Hospital Crash Cart and a Max Fennig. So that is a no on that. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the final booster pack for this case of Truth Is Out There edition booster packs. And for those of you who were wanting to keep track, we had a total of 3 buyers
Ooh, how many did Mike predict?
He said 6. So yeah,
6.
I forgot to keep track of that at the start of this. But yes, yeah, 3 buyers came up in that. Remember the last time I opened one of these, we had exactly no buyers.
Yeah.
Go up last time. So
that seems odd.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of shipping to do this coming Monday, but I do want to congratulate everyone who had a chance to get a card from this set of booster packs. So again, those of you that need to send me your address, Nathan, 4-way flashers. I definitely need your addresses, so send those to me when you have a chance.
Sounds good.
David Peets, you posed a fun question, and in the spirit of the season, I think it's worth throwing that question out before we sign off. Go ahead and throw that question out there that you just posted in Discord.
Well, now I have 2 questions. What is We're Your FCC? What is that about?
Oh, come on. You know what that is? It's Buyer's Pin.
Yes.
You remember the origin of the Lone Gunman?
Yes.
I got nothing.
Usual suspect. Well, David hasn't watched that episode yet. So.
Oh, come on. It's when they're at the convention.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Oh, come on.
No, okay.
So David, you're still watching season 1, so season 5 will be right in 4 years now. So.
Yeah, I would have said it's not a big
away
spoiler at all, so you don't worry too much about that. But it is
You
part of
haven't
the
watched
origin.
that? Come on now.
Yeah.
Will
Okay,
be
well,
on,
How's that possible?
yeah.
I just exposed my X-Files virginity there, but
I do want to.
Okay, do I need to play everything behind me for you?
I do want to point out that these I did get from FileFest courtesy of Dax. However, Dax, who I wish could be present for one of these episodes, but he is very much in dreamland right now. Dax purchased these from the prop master for the first 5 seasons of the X-Files. Ken, forgive me for mispronouncing his last name, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, who played in that particular episode for which these pins are derived, Unusual Suspects. He was the government official working alongside Byers, who was very adamantly playing Big Doug,
carted off,
and he got arrested by the MPs.
Yes.
So yes, he was the prop master on the X-Files.
I didn't hack anybody's computer. I was just playing Dig
I
Dug.
just was playing Dig Dug. You know, I have a tendency to fall down, but yes. So he was selling these on Facebook, and Dax purchased a bunch of these, and I threw him a few bucks, and so Dax set aside 2 of them for me, which he passed along to me at FileFest. So these are props from the episode.
And Steven, if I'm not mistaken, it will be on one of the season 5 cards, correct?
It will be one of the season 5 equipment cards. Yes, good call on that.
I need those. I'm desperate. I need some of those pins.
Reach out to Dax. He did buy a few of them. I don't know if he had planned to set aside any for other people to purchase, but yeah, he purchased a bunch of them. But I was just like, any one of each.
Those are awesome.
No greater indictment of the United States government than those pins right there.
Yep. Welcome to the dark side.
David, before you ask your question, I just wanted to I started watching the new Netflix series, The Fall of the House of Usher by Mike Flanagan, and I just watched the first episode, but there are 2 X-Files actors in the first episode, so if you want to check it out, there is Annabeth Gish, and there is also Nicholas Leah in a small part, but both of them are there.
Do you know what show has all kinds of X-Files actors in it?
Oh, Millennium.
Millennium, yeah.
Well, not Millennium. Come on, it ties into it. That's obvious. Come on, not Millennium.
Any show that's filmed in Vancouver, like Sliders would be another one.
Smallville. Smallville, yes.
Smallville. Oh, Smallville. Oh, gosh, yeah. Never seen it, but yes.
Oh, yeah, that brings me back.
Come on, Smallville, Superman.
I was never really big into.
Come on, Steven. Oh, come on, Steven.
Sorry to let you down on that. But those Vancouver actors crop up everywhere.
You got to watch Smallville. It's a good show.
Yeah,
it's not like X-Files. You can't watch it multiple times. You watch it one time, and that's enough.
Guillaume, as long as you weren't going to tell me it was Joel Palmer.
Kevin Morris.
Guillaume, I don't know if I would recognize
him, so.
I have never seen that actor appear in anything other than those 2 episodes of X-Files. I would like to get his autograph though, just so I could keep playing a Kevin Morris card. By the way, I didn't say what my favorite autograph was. I did point out the 2 cards, Skinner Chooses a Side and Video Trap. But my favorite was by far the fact that I got Larry Mustard to sign about 12 to 13 copies of Detective Manners.
Yes, we know that one.
So I have a whole bunch of
video.
Detective Manners
You show the
cards.
video, Steven, did you show the video you sent to us?
I do not have. I would have a hard time pulling it up on my computer, but I would love to play it. But it is on my phone, though.
Where the F are you, Steven? Where the F are you?
Gosh,
you were gracious enough to share one of those Detective Manners with me, Steven, and I appreciate that.
You don't have a signed Mustard card?
No, you gave me one at File Fest.
I did. Oh, I thought you were asking me for one. Okay, yeah, I did give you one. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate.
I got a whole lot more where that came from. So,
I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you know what White Castle is?
No.
Okay. So
isn't that a restaurant?
It is a restaurant.
Okay?
Yeah.
Dax
That's all I know.
Restaurant. And it's where Dax was we were making jokes about where to go eat. And White Castle is where you go to get explosive diarrhea. If you ever come to the States, don't let anybody take you to White Castle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I've been to the States before, but not to White Castle.
Don't go there.
He's been to the States. He's had explosive diarrhea, but not from White Castle.
You know what? I haven't.
I do want to point out that Mike and I talked about going there while we were in Minnesota, but ultimately we did not. I think we decided to heed Jonathan's medical advice and not go there. So,
what did we have? We had IHOP.
Oh yeah, there's that was a good.
Yes,
that was a good one.
Which causes the opposite problem. It's constipation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
So Stephen invited me to wrap it up with a final question that I'm going to pose here in case someone is watching this later on, but before the 31st. X-Files is, a great sci-fi creepy show with Halloween coming up. Gentlemen, I pose this to the panel. What is the scariest and or creepiest X-File episode out there? So people planning their Halloween binge watch while they wait for trick-or-treaters, what can they watch that's going to freak them out and make them sleep with the lights on?
That's a good question.
In my limited exposure, I would say Squeeze is one that I remember, that one being creepy, and I didn't have to sleep with the lights on after that, but it did kind of give me the creepy crawlies watching him squeeze down the chimney and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one because even people who are not familiar with the show can watch it, and since it's early in the show's run, you can just get right into it. I think it would not be it's not my favorite episode, but I remember one of the scenes that freaked me out the most when I first watched the show was from 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, when 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 wakes up covered in blood, and there's a thunderstorm outside, and she sees Harry Cockley in her bedroom. And I remember I was maybe 11 at the time, and that scene really freaked me out.
Oh, Guillaume, I'm right there with you, dude. I'm right there with you. I remember being so freaked out about somebody's got to take my place, little sister, and it's not going to be me.
Chilling.
That freaked me. I'm right there with you. That's my episode too. That freaked me out so bad. I mean,
what was the title again?
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬.
That scared me to death. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Host is a good one. With
that was going to be my pick.
Or Guillaume.
Yeah.
The Host
You were
is good,
scared
but
as a child.
𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is truly the one that scared me the most. I mean, I remember that is so freaky when she's got that crack carved on her chest, and she says, somebody's got to take the blame, little sister, and it's not going to be me. Oh, I remember being scared to death of that because I think I was 13 when this show came out, so I was probably about 15 when that. I remember I I remember turning the light on. Crap like
Okay.
that. I remember that.
I remember that I had to stop.
For me.
I had to pause the episode, and I had the official episode guides for season 1 and 2, and so I had to pause the episode, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read what happened because it is just too scary. I need to know what happens and then watch the episode, and that's the only thing that I remember being really scared of during the show. And if I can say something nice about season 11, the episode Familiar is really good, and Mr. Chuckleteeth is really creepy.
Very much. That one, if you'd watched it as a child game, you would also have had nightmares for a while.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, you're up.
Jonathan just said it a moment ago. Home, the episode that was banned for 3 years after it originally aired. That episode was absolutely terrifying. I mean, the incestuous nature of the Peacock brothers, and to say nothing of the infanticide involved in it. That episode chilled me to the core. I mean, from the opening shot, the opening scene, the sound, which they cut because it was just too awful to hear. And I won't state what it is because David has yet to watch that episode. Watching it as a dad, it still chills me. So that episode will forever be my answer to that question. But I do want to point out one episode, and this is what's going to bring a chuckle to you guys. The episode that scared me quite a bit as a kid, because I watched it in this would have been early '95, so I guess I would have been 11 around that point. So yeah, I was watching Humbug.
Oh, Humbug! Yes.
The sight of Leonard jumping out at the conundrum terrified me as a kid, and that gave me some very awful nightmares for a little while as well. and it's funny because that was a comedy episode, but yes, that one stuck out at me as terrifying as a kid.
Did you all hear the comment? Did you hear the guys talk at File Fest about Home? Did anybody hear that?
I did not. What did they say?
They were talking about, like the I don't know what they're called, the guys that determine what's allowed and what's not.
Standards and practices.
Yeah, they were talking about how they were like the biggest defenders of that episode because it's like we didn't show contact and we didn't show all this, we didn't show this, we met all the rules. They actually went into a lot of detail about that episode. I was surprised. But yeah, they talked about that episode for a good 10 minutes, I guess, at one of those panels at File Fest, how they were real big on trying to push it, that it was okay. And, that it shouldn't be banned and all that.
Which is not something you typically get from standards and practices. They're usually quick to want to excise anything from it. But I think maybe by that point, season 4 and the show had seen so much success that maybe it was just being afforded a lot of leeway by that point.
They were talking about, some people were saying, they said that they got messages or whatever back then. I don't even know what you got. You didn't get text messages. You got, actual written letters or whatever.
Faxes.
Yes, exactly. They were talking about, I don't appreciate, seeing somebody's brains spilt across my living room on TV, and that didn't happen. And it was they were talking about what people actually inferred because of it.
But didn't show kind of the Halloween effect, right? You see like very little blood in the first Halloween movie, but it's so like.
But you know what happened.
But you insert your own
violence. Invert violence is usually creepier than
it is.
As Chris Carter said, what you don't see is scarier than what you do see.
Yeah. Your mind fills in the blanks. I want to add. I want to add an episode. Host was also my pick, Jonathan, because of the. Well, I think there are the scenes where they actually so the Host is one of the few episodes where they actually capture the bad guy, right? And have him confined for a little while, which is okay, we have physical proof of this, weird creature, evolutionary creature. So it's weird in that respect. And then it's, still alive at the end. Obviously, sorry, David. Spoiler alert, right?
Well,
I remember that show. I remember that episode as being a favorite.
You
Do you
saw that?
remember this handsome man?
Yeah.
Very handsome man.
I do.
Flukeworm guy. Yeah.
I do want to throw out another episode, Grotesque.
Yes.
Which I
Yes.
also find
Grotesque is awesome.
terrifying, and it's terrifying in a different way than like the violence. It's psychologically terrifying because
Well, it's grotesque in a way that it can happen.
yeah, you're not really sure
Yes.
who the bad guy is here, and it kind of, I think, illustrates it does illustrate, like, you get too deep into a killer's mind and all the bad things that might happen. So
Yeah,
I found that one, and then of course it's all they're the grotesque clay figures and stuff like that. It's a very unsettling episode.
I love it.
To wrap it up and also to promote our Discord channel, Dave Meyer agrees Home is one of his creepiest ones. And Dax chimed in. He says Die Diverlitz.
Oh,
that's a
yes.
good one.
How did we miss Die Diverlitz? I mean, what in the world? How did we not say that?
I mean, a giant snake eating a guy. I mean, yeah, that should stick out in anyone's mind, right?
Look, when you rip
He also says the 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 was a creepy one, and Familiar.
Yes, 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 was great.
I think it's quite telling that all of the episodes that we mentioned are from the first 4 seasons.
Yep.
And
we did mention Familiar, but yeah, that aside,
they're all what we would have called Monster of the Week episodes. They're not.
They're not part of the mythos. Yeah.
But also, is it because we watched them when we were younger, and so they made a bigger impression? Like, if you were to watch them now for the first time, would they scare us the way that they did back then?
I would think.
Not when I was 10,
know that
no.
a lot of them probably would, because now I actually know some German and I know what Die Diverlitz means. So, yeah, it freaks me out even more now.
All right, so I'm gonna start to wrap this up, but I just want to give us a chance to plug some other stuff we've got coming up. We got another playtest game happening next weekend. For those of you who are watching this recording between now and next weekend, David, do you want to give us the details on what's going down next weekend?
Very quickly, it is Friday, October 20th, 10 a.m. Pacific, and what does that equate to? 6 p.m. In France? 7 p.m.?
7 p.m. France and 6 p.m. UK.
All right, so that's between myself and 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, another fun Fight the Future playtest. I'm going to try to tailor my deck to cards that we have not seen yet, and do my best to try to get those out on the table. I know 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 is an intrepid opponent, and I will be looking forward to a great game and some good debates regarding the use of these cards. And I would encourage anyone. I know it's here in the States, it's a work day in the morning, but if you're able to tune in, please do. We would love to have your commentary while we play. If you're not able to watch, it'll be available on Studio Squim Live, and will be available to watch immediately following. So if you want to chime in on the comments or dig in the Discord during the game, well, after the game, I'll be recording anything that 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬 and I felt were noteworthy, and I'll be combing the comments for those kinds of things as well, and then we'll bring it up in the Discord for debate.
And speaking of the Discord, the link to that should be in the description for this episode, as well as all of the previous episodes on Alien Investigation. So if you're interested, excuse me, if you're interested in taking part in some of these discussions that we have regarding the cards, feel free to join the community there. And yeah, we got a lot of very lively discussions that happen pretty much every day on there. So, yep, the link is there. So do join us. And Nathan, do you have anything coming up on Chasing the Dragon, your own channel?
Yeah, I have to actually publish the I have 2 related videos. So first I have my FileFest prep video with 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, where I tested out my File Fest tournament deck, and then I also have a File Fest post tournament breakdown, the deck I brought, and then describing why I included certain things in it, and going through card by card, and basically explaining what the deck was, what it hoped to accomplish, what didn't go so well, what did go well. So 2 videos related, and I'll try to get those out by the end of October. I should be able to do that. So
excellent. And so October for both episodes, it sounds like?
Yep.
Excellent.
There's not too much editing to do on them, so.
Very cool. And I do want to point out that episode 23 of Alien Investigations, the editing is underway. I'm about maybe close to halfway through the episode. I would like to have it up by next week, ideally, but there is a lot, unlike Nathan, there is a lot of editing that goes on in those. So I'm trying to make it a good one. It was the episode that we played about 6 months ago. Mr. David Joost and I played a game in which our agents were selected by Joost Berns over in the Netherlands. And so he chose the agents for us. And we haven't really repeated that. I think maybe we did one game like that since then, if I'm correct. So I don't know. Is anyone interested in trying that again?
I'm interested in any game.
I know.
Listen to this guy. He's up for it.
I know, Nathan, the whole idea is
I get beat by everybody. What difference does it make?
Welcome to my world.
I think maybe we just need to see more games between David and Jonathan then.
Clash of the Titans, huh?
There you go. Nathan, you threw out the idea, and the whole reason that episode came about was because you thought of the idea of the opponents selecting the team of agents. We have not yet seen that occur on any of our channels. So again, I wanted to throw that out there in case anyone was maybe interested in taking a shot at a game like that.
I tried to get Mike to do a Gen Con deck at File Fest. Gen Con versus Gen Con, but he wanted to play for decks. I'm not quite ready to give him. I'm not quite ready to play.
Stakes are a little too high.
Yeah. I was ready to play for hell money, but not pink slips. I mean, I don't have.
So I do want to, bring this to a close since we're coming up on midnight and some of us need to get to sleep. So again, I want to congratulate everyone who has had a chance to take home a card, and I will be trying to get these sent out on Monday, provided I get everyone's address in time. I do want to throw an additional one out to Joost. I did not catch this one while I was opening the packs, but Hospital Crash Cart also came up. That was one that you had requested as well, so you got 3 coming your way, my friend. And I want to also thank everyone who tuned in to watch this episode. Mike Perrine, Madeline, for Mike 4E Flashers, Andrew McCaskill. If I left anyone out, I do apologize. And or if you didn't speak up, I do want to thank you all for tuning in. And of course, I want to thank my esteemed panel of guests who did their part in making this, I think, a very lively episode, very good discussion while I was opening packs. 𝐗-𝐅i𝐥e𝐬, thank you so very much. Nathan, thank you as well. David Peace, Jonathan, I can't thank you guys enough for availing yourselves on this Saturday night to open these packs with me. So I really can't thank you enough, guys.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Love it.
Excellent.
Glad.
And with that, I will say goodnight. And please be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Alien Investigations.
Good night, everyone.
All right. See you guys.